Every Sunday, side by side at the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Chris Switzer and Ray Garino calls them as they sees them, and you better believe them. Here, relevant news, biased opinions, and outright bullshit regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gasp at mechanical trickery never before revealed over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrill to the explosive tension as Chris and Ray cuss each other down the track and barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands with the devil. All that and much more this Sunday at high noon on the Motormouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and live feed, Chris Switzer and Ray Garino. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free. Every Sunday at noon on WHPC. Take the Long Island Expressway to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the sign saying no parking on the expressway and no express service on the parkway. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes pit pass. Sunday!
Of Houston, Texas. We don't only sing, but we dance just as good as we want.
And hi, everybody. I'm Ray Guarino from Motormouth Radio, and I confuse my spots on the board here just as good as I want. And you've tuned in to Motormouth Radio, Long Island's only automotive talk show. We're going to tighten up on the drums a little bit here.
Come on now,
tighten up on the drums, all right?
Because that's what I do.
Tighten it up for me now.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
That tom-tom is as tight as a drum.
Tighten up on that bass now.
And now Joe comes in on the bass. Chris, my buddy up there in the confines of Connecticut, how are you doing?
We're doing remarkably right here on this fine Motormouth Radio Hour, the show that your mom and dad always said, it'll poke your eye out. But yes, we're doing great.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was going to start the show a different way. Of course, I'll echo what Rob said and say hi to everybody down at Celebrity Chase Collision, Car Star Celebrity Chase in Oceanside. The Cars and Coffee event kicked off again today. The guys are all down there. It was really getting to a fever pitch when I had to extricate myself. So hi to all. And I tell you, I'm jamming out of there, and I'm driving the Fiat today, so I'm not jamming too fast. But
right,
I had an incident, a Mikey T incident that could have easily been a road rage thing. A guy in a Caddy STS that wanted to be where I was. I was in the correct lane to get onto the highway. He was in the wrong lane, and he wanted to be where I was. And this guy dogged me all the way up the highway. And I'll tell you, if I tell you what happened, I won't be able to do it without having my car impounded by the FCC in the parking lot, because I'll revert right to that kind of language. And let's just suffice it to say,
got warm.
Boy, was I warm. So that's why I'm screwing up my job here today. But what the heck, that's kind of expected.
You know what? Is it worth it?
No, but
never worth it.
And it's always worse when you're right. Like you didn't do anything wrong. This guy's being a jerk. So whatever.
That's true. I always think, sometimes I think maybe he's on his way to an operation. Maybe his finger fell off. Maybe
I hope something.
I was trying to always think of their side of the story. Other than the fact that he probably didn't see you, and he's not man enough to realize.
Oh no, he saw me. Yeah.
Oh, he saw you. He saw your finger, right?
Well, no, I was playing it cool. I was just doing, I didn't do anything wrong. Like I said, I was in the right lane to exit onto the parkway to come up to here to the studio. He was in the middle lane, and I kind of sensed. You kind of get that spidey sense when you're driving. Like this guy,
yeah.
He couldn't get in front of me because there was a car in front of me, but he didn't want me there. Is pretty much what it was.
Right.
So as I accelerated, he had to get behind me. I think that's what ticked him off. He had to get behind me.
Yes,
in the little car.
Want to do that.
Oh yeah. So anyway, but I want to tell you something pretty funny. It is really ironic. Last night, I was listening to. I went through some music. Last minute, it's like 9 o'clock at night. Let me find some music for the show. So I chose these two songs, and that Archie Bell and the Drells, Tighten Up, one of my favorites, forever.
1968, yeah, sure.
And of course, as witnessed by the fact that this is the Billboard Top Hits of 1968.
Wow.
So, and I had the radio on like I always do, and I swear, as I scrubbed through these songs, the next song on the radio was Tighten Up by Archie Bell and the Drells. And I said, I know my phone listens to me. Now, my TV probably does too. I didn't know my radio did. And I went outside now on the deck. My wife was out there, and we have the radio on there, same station. And I said, I told her the story. I said, I just heard this song that I just played. I said, now, if I hear the second song that I played that I picked, now I went through the whole CD. I said, I'm going to really be freaked out.
Yeah. And so the second song is coming up, obviously, at the bottom of the hour.
Right. We were safe
here on the show.
It didn't hit me. So, but I want to. Why?
But did it play the second song on the radio?
No. Like I said, we're safe. We're safe. It didn't.
Okay, good.
But I want to tell you something else that's kind of funny, that's intuitive. On Thursday night, Plane and Traffic Show, I was on there with Brian later. And a fellow came in, and his name is Isaac, and I hope he's listening. I invited him to listen and call today. If he is, he's out in Arizona. Right. And Isaac said, "Oh yeah. I've been watching this show. Watch you guys for years." And I said,
"Years."
So this happens. This is a direct correlation to this show, to radio. You never know who's listening, and who your listeners and appreciative people are. So
the guy listened and he stayed awake.
Well, right. Well, probably not for the whole thing. I mean, let's face it. I don't even stay awake for the whole thing. But as witnessed by my vocal patterns as the show gets late. But yes. So I said to him, I used one of the radio tricks I learned through the years. And I said, okay, not that I didn't believe him, because I did. I just wanted to see how much of a listener or viewer he was. So I said, well, Isaac, I tell you what, I said, not that I'm testing you, but can you tell us something you've learned about me and or Brian? And, and of course, he knew Chessie, John, he knew of him and all. And he said, yeah, Ray, I know you really like rye bread. And he said, and Brian likes his sandwich. Yeah. I'm like, I said, okay, you
sold.
Bona fide.
Yeah, he's a listener. He's a viewer. I love it.
So that was pretty cool. So I hope he calls us, because he's a car guy. And, he's been out there his whole life, and he's getting involved with the Chevelle project for his wife that he wants to do some work to. And he's got a bunch of cars. He's got a Porsche 914 and, some cool stuff. So,
So he knows which end of a screwdriver to use. Very nice. I like that.
Apparently that's Coach Isaac. That's his screen name. Yes.
Coach Isaac.
Yeah.
Well, we hope he's listening right now. Yeah. Welcome, Coach Isaac, if you are listening.
And how can he call us? Yes.
So I was just going to say that. Our great minds think alike. 516-572-7440 is the phone number to get a hold of us here. This is, I'm assuming, the one of the shows where we talk to ourselves here. No one's dropping in, I'm assuming. You locked the door behind you when you walked into the studio.
Yeah, during this week, it was a little hectic. And, sometimes, like I said, now, of course, the way my life has changed, I don't even look at email sometimes till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. And I'm that guy now. I don't, I'll maybe scrub through it at night quick because I'm just busy with other stuff. Life is now, busy. And,
I think people were waiting. They were like crouched down behind shrubs and brick walls, ready to jump out at you when you said, I'm retired now.
Yeah.
We need you for this. We need you for that. We need you for these three things. I'm sure that's what they did.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things at the shop, I've been kind of busy, and this week was, now we're into truck repair. I'm earning my truck repair badge, which I didn't ask for, but I got it. We talked about the tow truck last week in the brake. Brake line's a brake line, except that weird oddity where there was a larger nut on a smaller line. That was some kind of strange thing I still haven't figured out. But we adapted. Now, it was a flatbed repair. And again, it's on social media. I put some stuff up. If you look at Motor Mouth Radio on either, it's not on the web. It didn't make it to the website, but it's on Twitter. And it's on Facebook. It's real_Motor Mouth Radio on Instagram. I recommend going to Instagram because I can put 10 pictures up there. And I always put more. On Twitter, it's only 4. But this one of the
I'm seeing some places where you really use the blue tip wrench.
Yes,
never good.
That was the thing. The lift cylinder. There's 2 lift cylinders. Well, there's more than that. But on the front of the bed, there's 2 lift cylinders, and one of them at the bottom. There's a big round a knuckle piece that a pin goes through that actually lets it articulate and raise, and that piece had snapped off the cylinder. And if you've ever done a sway bar link on a traditional car where you have the bolt, you have the bushing, the washing, and you have that spacer in the middle of it.
Yes.
Many times that spacer rusts to the bolt. So you get the nut off.
It fixes itself to the bolt.
Yeah, but then you can't get the bolt through because that's the arrangement here, except the bolt in this case was a 1-inch hardened pin, diameter. Wow. And the spacer was the outer part of the cylinder, which was about 2 inches in diameter. And they spun together freely, but I couldn't get the pin out. So I used heat, I used air chisels, I used hammers, I used everything I had, and finally had to call in reinforcements. So we called in Steve from the other shop. Thank you, Steve, if you're listening. I can't thank you enough again. Because we didn't have the correct tip for the cutting torch at the shop that I was at. I was heating it up, and I got some pictures. I was getting it red. But Steve came down with the correct tool and that blue tip wrench. He fired it up, and he cut this. And I still got to ask him, this thing was housed in an L-shaped, like a U-shaped bracket. That's where it sat.
Yes, I see the bracket. Bracket looks pretty beefy, too.
Well, let me tell you something. He had that thing. He literally cut it. So to have enough oxygen in a celly, enough oxygen to cut a 2-inch sleeve with a 1-inch hardened pin in the middle, it's a lot of heat. It hit me later. How did he not cut that bracket in half? He is that good. So
because you're on that bracket. Everything's getting hot all at once.
Let me tell you, my hat is off, Steve. Thank you very much. There is a master who knows how to use it. I mean, I know how to use a torch. I know how to use, I'm definitely not as proficient as he is. And, right. I mean, anything I've cut has always been smaller, but yeah. So that was the job this week. And
I love the picture of the crumbs. They look like molten lava. It looks like rocks from Hawaii after the volcano exploded.
Right.
What's in this picture on Instagram and real_Motormouth Radio.
Yeah,
Definitely everybody take a look at this. This was a dynamic bit of heat exchange here and melting and figuring.
We have more dynamics. We're going to go to the phones in the front and say hi. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hello, gentlemen. Good morning or afternoon, wherever we are here today.
Yes, it's last I checked, it was afternoon. Either that or I'm either really late or really early.
Went over the cusp there.
Yeah.
What's up, Skip?
Speaking of cylinders, it turns out that I have a cylinder story, and it's related to my automotive 4-post lift. Turns out I go to lower the car from the lift, and I have to raise it a little first to get the stops off. And as I start to lower it, I see fluid coming out of the underside of the lift.
Oh, boy.
I stop it, I put it back on the stops, and I look, and it's the big, long cylinder that actuates the lift cables, and it's leaking from the end seal, I'm assuming. So with that being said, I reached out to a couple lift repair service companies on Friday, which I didn't expect too much feedback until maybe Monday, but I got an email from a guy this morning, and he's telling me that, my lift, it's a Chinese lift and this and that. And, the parts and do it and to pull it. It's working out that with his figures, I could buy a new lift.
You know what, Skip? Even with floor jacks, I've seen that happen, and that's why we tell people all the time, if you're going to buy a cheap floor jack, know that when it goes bad, you throw it out and you buy another one. You don't try to have it fixed because they don't have the parts. Yeah.
The lift is called, as I have a brain fart.
I'll tell you, as you think, I just purchased a quick jack lift. It's being delivered tomorrow, in fact. And I was a little leery. I did
36 inches or whatever.
I did some research on this thing, and I was happy to find out that the one that I bought is made by BendPak. So I said, okay, good. You know what? I actually got something that's going to be good and repairable because BendPak is a top company. But that's the thing, you got to do that research and find out.
This was such a deal when I got it. There was a guy that had a repair shop that had like 6 of these in the shop.
Yeah.
And he used it just for storage for cars. He charged people to store their cars.
Yeah, sure.
And that was it. He put cars on the lift. He raised them up, and they didn't move for years.
Right.
So he was looking to make some more space in the shop. He got busier, and he was liquidating a couple. And I picked this thing up for like $850.
And the seal probably
delivered it to my house.
And the seal probably shrunk and dried because it was in one position for so long, not lubricated by the fluid.
Yeah.
Right. It's dried out.
When I brought it down here, it sat out in the yard for a year before I put it up in the garage.
Right.
So, therein lies the problem. And I didn't expect to be problem free, but I did expect to possibly have a solution if that ever did happen.
Yeah.
Now I'm stuck with the fact that I have the El Camino up on top, and I was going to lower it, but now I left it up because I don't know if I drop this lift down, if I'm going to lose fluid and not have pressure to get it back up again, you can't get the cylinder out from under the ramp.
Yeah.
So I have to leave it up now until I come to a solution.
So, but then again, you really don't want to take the cylinder out with the car on the lift.
No.
Well, you can, because what happens is when you put the lift all the way up, you bring it up past the highest point with the regular locks, and there are holes drilled through the columns where you put a pin through.
Oh, okay. Mechanical stop. Okay.
Right. And then you drop the lift onto that, and it can't move.
Column.
Right. Okay. Yeah, well.
And at that point, it can't move, because I think you're going to have to release the cables to get the pressure off the cylinder first.
Right.
Before you can even get the cylinder out anyway.
Yeah. But, let me tell you a funny story. It was a couple of years ago. We had Mike's Monte Carlo, the SS Monte Carlo up on the lift in the shop. It's electric over hydraulic, same as like what you have. And we were trying to find an oil leak. And next thing you know, we're under the car, and there's red fluid dropping on us. Like, what the hell is that? I'm like, that looks like transmission fluid. But the transmission lines we were nowhere near the transmission. It was coming down like the left inner fender liner. I'm like, where the hell is there red up there? There's no transmission stuff's on the right side. So we bring the car down, and we see it's all over the windshield. Like, what the hell? The hose that goes across the lift with the fluid had breached, and the fluid was shooting down on us, raining from above. So luckily, we had to change that. The hose is like, that hose is like 20 feet long.
Yeah, I got that on the side of mine too. But the problem with mine is mine has the clear or opaque hydraulic fluid in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So unless you see it coming down,
that
you're stuck.
Now, is that I have jack oil like that. That's light, but there's also some equipment use like a mineral oil. You should find out exactly what it is before you repair, so you know what to replace it with.
Well, that's why I was hoping to find somebody that does that can not only fix that for me, but make sure the lift is adjusted properly with the cables and all.
Yeah.
Because we did it. I've done it twice. Once when I had it at the house up north, and then when we put it together down here. But it never seemed to work properly when I had it there, since I've had it down here for 5 years.
Yeah.
It always seemed to operate slower, and I'm thinking that seal probably had a little nick in it and was always sucking a little air.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and then finally it just had enough and started peeing the fluid out now. So
I know a guy. Unfortunately, he's on Florida Street in Farmingdale. So Florida Street. That's the guy who repaired my floor jack. It's a big hydraulic. I know another guy in Brooklyn, but they're not going to be able to help you, unfortunately.
Well, maybe I'll ship the lift up today because, believe it or not, today, after 14 months, the Nomad is coming home.
Oh, good. Very good.
It's supposed to be delivered between 3 and 4 o'clock this afternoon, so
nice.
I'm anxiously awaiting that. And it's going to be a brand new car. Everything has been done over top to bottom, nuts and bolts, and every system has been gone through. So
right.
I've been warned that it's a different car, and I better watch out because now it drives and accelerates the way it should have all along.
You know, it's just a shame, and this is a story for another time. It's just a shame that it had to be done twice to get it that way.
Well, you're 100% correct there, and my wife and my pocketbook will agree with you.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the other part of it. Yeah, once you're into it, what are you going to do? But all right. Well, thanks for that info, Skip. Good luck with the lift and the car. Enjoy. Happy cruising.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Be well.
Talk to you soon.
All right.
Take care, Skip.
All right. Boy, it's lift day. Yeah, this like I said, that one that I ordered we were talking about, it's coming in tomorrow. It's on a FedEx truck now. Last I checked, it was in New Jersey somewhere. So
it's funny you should mention lifts that need to be thrown away if they're compromised. I have one that has got 1 foot out the door already. And it's just a simple old one of those old jacks.
A floor jack.
Hydraulic jacks. Yeah, floor jack.
Right.
And it will hold the car. It will hold it for a certain amount of time. I don't know how long, though, because if I leave it on the jack for like an overnight, if I need a jack stand under it, because when I come back the next day, the jack, which was holding the car up, will now be all the way down at its lowest position. It slowly comes down overnight. It will hold the car. Like if I got to pop a tire off and like rotate tires, it'll hold the car up, no problem.
Right.
But over a certain amount of time, and I'm like, this is on its way out. I got to go find a jack, buy the jack, bring it home, and then thing is going to the dump.
Like Skip was just talking about the Chinese stuff. Pirate Paul, he's gone through this too with a couple things. All the stuff is built the same way as other companies build it. There's pistons, there's seals, there's fluid. That stuff is all set. But what they use is where the variation is. And sometimes they'll spec a seal or a shaft that's just, in their world, a millimeter or so different. So the shaft seal that would work on the American jack of the same tonnage rating won't fit on the offshore jack, and that's where they get you. And then you try to get that part, and nobody has it. It's like they're only interested in sales, not service.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense because that's the way it is nowadays with some parts. And
unfortunately,
you're absolutely right. Yeah, unfortunately, that is the case, and I hate to say it, but I was gonna wait until the bottom of the hour, but I could say it now.
Okay,
guess.
What do you got?
All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ray!
Yeah.
Ray!
Yes.
Today is the day I am falling on the sword.
Uh-oh.
Fall on the sword day.
Da, da, da.
Today. Dun, dun, dun. I must do it. The Grand Knight with the fine upstanding theories must bow down to my longtime radio colleague and say, Ray! Gonna fall on a sword. So I got this P2196 code in the Explorer.
Okay, the Explorer,
right. Which was a rich. The oxygen sensor was calling for a rich mixture, basically, and one of the remedies to this code is a leaky fuel injector.
Yes. Boy,
so
this ties right into our jack story, doesn't it?
Yes. Okay. So that I would assume those Chinese fuel injectors I put in the truck were giving me fits.
Yeah.
So what I did was I ordered a set of Bosch. Use the name brand. Bosch fuel injector. So now the 3.7 is now German now.
So now, just like Skip's restoration project, you paid for yours twice, except you paid less than he did, but still, you had to pay for it twice.
I paid. Well, here's the funny thing was I was able to get the Bosch fuel injectors on sale, so it wasn't that much of a heartache. But I did it. Okay. And I swapped them out yesterday.
Okay.
And the rubber seals were fine. They went in a little tighter than the Chinese ones.
Okay.
So your millimeter theory can very well be accurate.
Right.
So I was able to. They were able to behave. The installation was doing what it was supposed to do. When the Chinese ones went in a little looser, they didn't leak. But they went in like a little. They didn't give me that much of a trouble of a fight getting the fuel rail into the intake manifold. So I put in the Bosch ones and I fired this thing up. Boy, oh boy, does this thing run quick! It is now fun to drive. I can't even say this without smiling.
Wow,
the truck is now super quick.
So you saw a difference between the original old ones and the Chinese ones that was positive.
Yes.
And now you see. So imagine if you went from that old crap right to the Bosch, how it would have felt.
Holy smokes. It would go like stink.
Wow.
But yeah, it's running really well. Knocking on wood here. Knocking on wood.
Right.
But it's running really, really well. New coils, new plugs, and new fuel injectors, and we are rocking and rolling. I had that thing out yesterday, just driving it around. Oh, and here's the best. The story continues. I will move on for just a minute. Last night, we've been having an issue with rain. We're in drought conditions up here in the Nutmeg State because we just haven't seen a lot of rain.
Yeah, here too.
So I have found that I own the Rainmaker.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What's that?
Anyone that's into weather here, come talk to me.
I hope it's those 80s version satin shorts and the knee-high socks that you put on when you go out to mow the lawn. I hope that's what it is, because that'll keep you in the house away from people's eyes.
Those shorts are very comfortable.
I bet they are.
You should wear them.
Yeah, you should. Over your head.
Sateen.
Yeah. I will send you the picture of you cutting your lawn, because you're going to love this. So go on. What was the? Tell me about it.
So here's what happened. Because it started to get dark when I finished the job, I said, you know what? I got to pull the convertible out to get the Explorer out, because when you get the Explorer and my convertible in the garage at the same time, you can't open the doors of either car.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I was thinking, I need an escape route when I start the Explorer up, because I don't want to get stuck in this thing if something explodes.
Good
so
point.
I had to get the Chrysler out, so at least I can get into the passenger side of the Explorer, hit the key, and run like crazy.
Right.
But it started up, everything was fine, everything was good, but I found that the Chrysler now was running outside, just sitting there. And I said, you know what? It's getting dark. Let me lower the garage door. I have a white garage door. I says, let me adjust the headlights on the Chrysler, because I've never had an opportunity to adjust the headlights.
I have to do that too on a couple of cars.
Really. And you know what? It doesn't take so much. It doesn't take any effort at all.
It depends on the car, truthfully.
Yeah, good point. But on these old American boats, it really doesn't take a lot of effort. So I roll the garage door down. I got the car sitting there, and I go and adjust the headlights, and I get them actually pretty good. Now, mind you, I think there's still T3s in this thing. I don't even. Oh wow! I don't think that they're
yellow bulbs.
They're yellow. Yeah, they're yellow bulbs. So I pointed them directly I got them aligned on the door, and let me check it out. Let me get in the car. Now, where I am, you really do need your headlights up here. It's not like, there's no street lights
those nutmegs are dark
to speak of. Yeah, a lot of dark nutmegs up here. So get in the car. I take off. I'm driving around, looking at my headlights, hitting the high beams. All of a sudden, it starts to rain.
Oh, boy.
It starts to rain. Mm-hmm. And I look at the phone. There's no little rain icon on my weather app. I'm like, why is it raining? I bring the car back, I put it into the garage, and it goes from raining to monsooning.
Oh, wow. Good timing.
I get the car in the garage, I close the garage door, I run in the house, and my wife is like, is it raining out there? I'm like, yes, it's soaking wet. It lasted up until the point I ran in the house.
Wow.
Literally. Then I hear the crickets again. I'm like, is it raining? I turn around. It's still soaking wet. I look outside. Nope, not a drop.
Wow.
I'm like, it's the car. And that's not the first time it happened. Last week, I was going to go to a car show with my cousin who has the Camaro.
Right.
And literally, he pulls up in front of the house. We're ready to go. I got the car sitting out there idling. All of a sudden, black cloud right over us.
Yeah.
Right over us. And it starts raining. It was raining up the road.
Right. We had we had a few like that this week too, where it was just like raining and stopped. Sun comes out. They would just rain again and stop. It's been strange. It has been strange.
Very frustrating. So I'm going to pinstripe on the trunk of the Chrysler 300, the Rainmaker.
Oh, there you go.
Because can't take this thing out without it raining. So I have to figure out how to find 1969 windshield wipers, because it has the metal, the original windshield wiper arms. The metal ones. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be
You don't have them on the car?
Oh, I have the metal arms on the car.
You want
the windshield, the wiper rubbers themselves. I need the rechargeable, the recaps, whatever they are.
No, you need the refills.
Refills.
Good luck.
Yes.
I had like 2 boxes of some old refills, but because they're from the 70s, they're so dried out, and no one sells refills anymore.
I think that's what I have to do. I may have to buy the right size windshield wiper and take it apart.
Okay, but let me tell you, I did that on the rear wiper on something within the last year or so. But the problem is the refills always had the stays and the clips to stay.
Yes.
The new ones don't.
Right.
They kind of so you're going to have to do some MacGyvering, and you may fly one off the car when you're driving. But that's the thing. Unfortunately, I did this for the Pontiac. I had the arms, and I wanted the new stainless blade part.
Right.
Because I had an original one, but they were and I bought them through Ames, where I got my restoration stuff, because they reproduced them for the popular cars. They probably reproduce them for the Chryslers. It may be a little more money than you want to spend on wiper blades, but they'll be correct. you know.
Yeah, because I'm seriously considering, because I'm thinking I'm never going to drive this thing in the rain.
Yeah,
right. How many times have you said that?
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, as we, speaking of that, it's a good time to say that, it is 78 degrees here at the studio. Feels like 78. Got a high of 81 today, and it's partly cloudy right now. The wind looks like it's out of the southeast, and it is a nice day to drive a convertible like I just did because it's overcast. So you don't have to worry about getting your head burned. And while you are out there burning, as it'll be probably tomorrow, you may want to hang out till Wednesday at 7 p.m. where you can turn on this station and listen to the Caribbean Mix, or Caribbean Mixed, where your hosts, Kedner Stephen and Marjorie DeJour, will play the hottest compas and Caribbean hits from yesterday and today, plus Haitian news, events, and more, which brings us to the bottom of the hour. So do we have an honor group?
Wow, that's a great lead-in for the Motormouth Radio honor group of the hour. I tell you.
It's a good thing we correlate and compare notes on this show so well, so we're so simpatico with each other's bits, right? I mean, exactly. It has to be scripted, right?
This is produced so well.
Yes, it is. On the fly.
Can't certainly be by chance.
Nope.
The Motormouth Radio honor group of the hour today. If you finally joined the ranks of truck ownership, talking about trucks, and quickly found that because of the sheer size of the vehicle, you can't see into the engine compartment. Is your truck too tall? Do you need a step stool to simply check your oil? Do you have to walk around with a 5-gallon spackle bucket just to climb up and see the engine? Getting frustrated with standing on the front tire and holding on to the edge of the fender with your fingertips? You can't work on a car with one hand. Did you chip a tooth the last time your foot slipped off the front bumper? Well, if you're pricing some construction scaffolding because you've quickly realized you are the wrong size for your full-size truck, then you are part of the Motormouth Radio honor group of the hour. There you go. I'm
in there because, yes, I do have a truckster now that's hard to get into. I just climb in. I climb up and over and get in. I still do that, whatever. All right, so here we go. You're going to learn the secret of my madness. You're going to see the great song from 68, another one of my favorites. This actually goes on my list. I make CDs with themes, and I have one that's just nothing but instrumentals.
Yes, because you're insane. I know.
Oh, and this, I know... the thing is, I'm going to talk, after the break, I want to talk about a good friend of ours. I spent some time with Mike Sims yesterday and his son, Ryan. One of the pre-ultimate DJs in the world. The guy can talk up, he could talk up a paper bag and make it sound interesting. He is so good. So we were talking about, talk-ups and songs and this and that, and of course, and he is the master. And I said, well, you can't talk up an instrumental. But...
Yes, you can. Yes,
well,
you can.
If you want to hit it, technically you can, but that's not.
Let's see. Cliff Noble's the horse. You could talk up. You could talk up Soulful Strut.
Yeah. All right.
You could talk up Love's Unlimited.
Well, you know what? Okay, I'll tell you what. We're just gonna. I'll let you do this. Ooh. This is 90.3 WHPC. We're gonna let the master do it right now. Stick us where you got it, and here we go, Chris. I'm gonna leave your mic hot. We're on.
Go. 90.3 WHPC on this fine, upstanding Sunday afternoon where you're listening to Motormouth Radio with Ray Guarino, Chris Switzer. Here it is. This is Cliff Noble's the horse.
Nice.
My name is Carl Anthony with Automoblog and AutoVision News, and you're listening to Ray and Chris on Motormouth Radio, WHPC 90.3 FM.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limerick and Oceanside, who remind you that New York State law says you always have the right to choose which shop will fix your car. CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision offers a full range of services, 24-hour towing between Montauk and Manhattan, shuttle service, and they can help you with a rental car arrangement if needed. All repairs include the CarStar Lifetime Nationwide Warranty, ensuring that the experts at Celebrity Chase Collision are always on your side.
Y sí, hablamos español.
More information is available at 516-593-0920 or online at celebritychasecollision.com.
You're listening to the Motor Mouths.
Hello, gentlemen. You guys call yourself hot rodders. Come on, man.
I was waiting for you to learn how to trim my bonsai plant.
Motor Mouth. Love the show and keep them coming.
You have to excuse me. I was just outside messing around with the car.
I'm reluctant to say I'm anything like you guys.
Motor Mouth.
But I am exactly like you guys.
I try and keep every old thing going.
Good show as usual.
Motor Mouth.
You guys are trouble.
I know you guys have your finger on the pulse of stuff.
Our trained staff of 2 will help.
Come on and ask and answer some car questions. I'm a fountain of useless knowledge.
Quite frankly, there are better things to do with your time.
Instructions are just another man's opinion, Ray.
Yeah, I talk to you guys when I need you. I appreciate you. I listen to you.
Yeah, I want to know what is wrong with my car.
I'll be glad to answer any questions for you I can. You're different because you glow in the dark, so it's all good.
Rob, can I ask you a question?
Sure, ask anything you want.
Motor Mouth.
Have you heard from Ray or Chris saying that this was going to be the best show ever in the history
you see,
of
it's
mankind?
funny because Ray will come in and say, well, Rob, this is going to be the greatest show we've ever done.
It's not Sunday morning until I'm sure.
And sometimes
that
Chris...
Motormouth Radio is going to be the best show that was ever done.
And then Chris will sometimes joke that it's going to be the worst show they've ever done.
There are answers, sometimes correct ones, and we may have them.
Motormouth Radio, 90.3 FM, WHPC.
Motor Mouth.
Hey, you, get over here. Every Sunday, 12 to 1, you are going to tune in to hear the Motor Mouths, my friends Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. 90.3 FM, WHPC. You might learn something.
All right, taking it out with Cliff Nobles and The Horse, one of my favorite instrumentals from the golden year of 1968, when I was just a little shaver. But yes, and good talk up, Chris. You're proving your worth. I know you gotta, if Mike Sims was here, he would throw the gauntlet down and he'd say, all right, now try this one.
No, if Mike Sims was there, he would do it better than me. That's for sure.
I was over there yesterday because I had to go take a look. Mike has his 57 Chevy back.
Yes.
And it does have an engine and transmission. It is a running vehicle again, which makes him very, very, very happy.
I'm in shock because I was talking to Mike Sims like I was talking to you about the GTO. I mean, I thought that car was never going to get put back together.
Right.
Meanwhile, both of them are now back together and running, which is amazing. It's an amazing feat in itself just to even say that.
Well, I'll tell you this. His son, Ryan, does have some other plans for that car. It now has a 283 with a power glide in it and a 4-barrel, but he's putting an LS in that car. They're going to LS it. That was Mike's original plan. Well, that wasn't Mike's original plan. His sons had that original plan, and now they got it together like this, but now the LS swap is right back on. So I'm it's funny because Ryan was wearing a shirt, a Cletus shirt, and I said, is that Cletus McFarland from Florida? He goes, yeah. He follows him. I said, our good friend John, Chassis John lived right near him and knew the guy. And now we're talking about LSs, and I said, hey, listen, I got a good friend of the show and a good friend of mine who's the LS guru. You ever hear of Terry Wilson? And he's like, I think so. I said, Coverman 66. Yeah, I watch his stuff. I'm like, Terry's a close friend of ours, friend of the show. He's been to the studio. I said, I'll hook you up with him. He knows all about this stuff. And there was somebody else, too, that came through our orbit. So it was funny. He's like, wow, Lou Santiago, another guy that I mentioned. You're like, wow, you know all these guys? Know them all.
Yes, and old Network Ray.
And and what we do is we don't hold those people in our inner pocket where nobody can see them. We share them with everybody. So I told Mike and Ryan, I said, listen, you guys want to talk to Lou, you want to talk to Terry? I said, I'll get them on the phone, we'll have a conference call. I said, no problem. I said, these guys will be happy to help you out. So
wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, so that's their that's what's going on over there. But yeah, it was a good time spending some time with Mike. It's always if you can get past the initial handshake/hug without fractured ribs or other limbs or vertebrae,
without a hospital visit.
Yeah, then you're in for a good visit. So
that's right. You can only shake Mike's hand once.
Well, you got to say goodbye too. So that's the other thing.
Yeah, I try and run.
And I'll tell you, Ryan's no slouch either. He's a solid character too. So
yes, very true. It's funny because I had a phone meeting with Uncle Ivunj himself this week. We were discussing the issue that I'm having with the with the Chevy Tracker. I keep saying Geo.
With
the Chevy Yes.
You can, in some respects, you can thank me for that because I was part of that text string.
Yes, thank you.
And then at some point, I was like, this is what I do. I said, okay, guys.
You're tired of seeing this.
Make a phone call already. Like, get off the call. You know what? Somebody heard and they made a phone call. We're gonna do this.
Go to the phone.
Let's go to the phones in the fun and say hi. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, Chris and Ray, this is Steve from West Simpson. How you doing?
Good, Steve. What's that? I know you heard Cliff Nobles and you said, hey, these guys are grooving again, man.
Oh, man, the music is just outstanding.
Excellent.
But real quick, I wanted to digress to last week when you guys were talking about the electric vehicles.
Right.
Now, the electric vehicle, the average price is between $52,000 and $60,000.
Yeah.
And even though they say the battery's supposed to last 8 years, I doubt it. You might get 6 years out of it. So 6 years down the road, when you have to replace that battery, you can't walk into your local Pep Boys, plop down $80 and walk out with a 50-pound battery and put it in yourself. These batteries weigh 1,000 pounds. Okay, That's right. You heard me correctly. 1,000 pounds, and the cost of a new battery is $20,000. So how is this feasible? Furthermore, if you get into a car accident and the fire department has to come extract you with a tool called the jaws of life, they cannot use that tool on those vehicles because the battery is so powerful. They've had instances where the firemen have been shocked and even electrocuted trying to rescue people. Wow. Secondly, say I'm going over the Throgs Neck Bridge. I live in Long Island. And, I want to go see Chris up there. So I'm going to take the Hutchinson River Parkway, which is very curvy and hilly. And all of a sudden, there's a flash thunderstorm. So I'm going down grade. I see the water pooling a little bit, but I think I can make it. Next thing you know, I'm in 8.5 inches of water, and it's coming above the rocker panel. So I'm sitting on top of a 1,000-pound battery, and water's coming into the vehicle. A 1,000-pound battery with 4 motors. I don't think I'm going to fare too well.
No.
And the other thing they're not talking about is they tell you not to hold the cell phone too close to your head when you're talking. You put it on the table and put it on speaker. So imagine the radioactivity or the electromagnetic frequencies from a cell phone times 100,000 because you're sitting on top of that battery. That cannot be good for your cellular structure. And lastly, I'll say this. The effort and it takes to mine the minerals for the batteries is astounding. When you guys get a chance, do a search on a CAT 797 dump truck. This thing is huge. It's about 30 feet wide. I've had the opportunity to sit in one at one of the construction expositions, and this thing can carry 400,000 pounds of material. The tires are like 5 feet wide, about 12 feet tall. And look at this shovel, the CAT 7495 that loads this thing. These things are destructive to the environment. They drink a lot of fuel. And, I don't see, they're not telling you about all these cons in reference to electric vehicles. And what's it going to cost to recharge this vehicle every night in your garage? $15 a whop, $20 a whop? Yeah. I mean, this is insane. I want my gas vehicles. We need to start a letter writing, email, and phone call campaign to these manufacturers. Hey, give me my 327 block back with a turbo hydromatic transmission hooked to some, a Dana drive line with some M&H Race Masters on some Krager wheels. I want to burn some rubber, baby. Screw these electric vehicles.
You know something, Stevie? You actually have a very good points. I'm sure you had them all listed, which some of them are very good. One of the reasons why electric vehicles are being pushed is because electric vehicles are more susceptible to interactivity, network activity. Basically, what they want to do is turn your car into a big transportable cell phone.
Carl Anthony talked about that's right. That's what it's going to become.
This was talked about last week. And I did a little bit of reading, not a lot this week, but I did do a little bit of reading about it, and he's right. What they want to do is almost like, how you pay for your cell phone and you pay for your cell service?
Yes.
Well, they're doing the same things. That's the big goal. They're looking at the cell phone and going, wow, everybody loves the cell phone, and they don't mind spending the money that they're spending on a yearly basis for one. So why not do the same thing with cars? And unfortunately, piston engines do not work well with cellular technology and basically computer circuitry itself. So electric motors do. And that's what they're doing. So you're going to have a cell plan for your car.
Yeah.
That's the
goal.
No
good, guys. No good.
No.
You know, what they're not talking about the downsides of this, you know. These have tremendous health ramifications, you know, sitting around all these electromagnetic frequencies. And my friends at the fire department also told me these things catch fire.
Oh, yeah.
They're almost impossible to put out.
Yeah, the lithium ion burns at an amazingly hot rate. You know, Steve, I like to say all the cars I have are basically hybrids. They all burn gas and rubber.
That's a good thing.
And I'm happy about that, yes.
Oh, well.
Well, Steve, thank you for the comments. You're right, brother. You're right on point. Very well stated. And I think you made the Mother's Day show with that. Very good. And keep up the good work.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Bye-bye. Yeah, those were all very good points.
That was, like Fred Gwynn said, that was eloquent, well stated, and a well thought out, proposition you had there.
I think I mentioned earlier. Yes, I think I mentioned earlier, but when he talks about electric cars that are immobilized, basically, if they're caught in an accident, they don't roll. There's no neutral. You don't put an electric car in neutral.
No.
Because of the worm gears, from what I was told, you can't push these things.
Yeah.
There's a whole big affair that needs to happen where you have to get under a dash, you have to pull a plug off the front bumper just to get the car to roll on its own. There's disengaging that needs to go on.
You know what?
That alone makes me a little nervous.
We got more activity. Let's go back to the phones and say hi. You're on the Motor Mouths.
Morning, gentlemen. How we doing?
Hey, what's happening, Bob?
What's up, Bob?
Well, good here. Well, good. How's that kook from Connecticut today? Boy, he was really cranking, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Chris is out of control.
Without
the cranking kook from Connecticut. That's me.
Oh, we love you. Hey, how about Steve, huh? Did Steve nail that last conversation?
Oh, yeah. He came in hot. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he was loaded for bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good points all around. So,
quick question. I missed a lot of your conversation about Mopar and Chrysler with the demise of the Hemis. And so what was the takeaway? Give me the brief takeaway on where they're going with this. Is this it? Is this the last year of that? Or is it next year for their...
Do you remember, Chris, what he said, what Carl said?
Basically, the way things, from what I know, is that they're going to do something called the last call, and the general consensus is that 2023 will be the last year you will be able to buy a Hemi powered Chrysler product. They're also doing, the good news is they're doing a convertible Challenger for the first time. There was talk of that to commemorate the last call. What would you say? Campaign.
Oh, wow.
So it's good and bad, but unfortunately this is all theories, and Stellantis, which is the company god of Fiat, Renault, and Chrysler, is kind of, I don't know, they're playing this close to the vest, but they do know that they do have to meet those CAFE standards, unfortunately, and the Hemis don't cut it. When they think about it, they really don't. So my theory is that they're going to come out with some really nice swoopy design next year in 2024 that happens to be electric, and hope that nobody notices.
Right. Let's have to pay for it.
Yeah, because I've come to realize, Bob, that, it doesn't matter what's under the hood of a car nowadays. As long as it looks good, people will go, okay.
That's how people buy. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, I mean, if you look at, like, let's say a Charger or they're not really built very well, or a Challenger. They're built okay.
You had a Charger, so you can speak to that, right?
Yeah, it's true. And it was a little questionable. Some of the materials are a little cheap. It's that sort of thing. But once you put your foot in it and you're tracking rubber down the block, it all goes away.
Yeah, right.
So if they can get electric cars, and this is just my theory, if they can get electric cars to do what the Hemis did and better, and make them look sexier than they do, and they look great now, I have a feeling a lot of the car guys, a lot of the gearheads are going to go, Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah, I think the can of worms hasn't even been cracked yet on this whole thing.
Right.
It really
so that's my thought. Just my theory.
Okay.
Save your cards.
Duly noted.
So then we're going to have the demise of the manual Camaro, manual Chrysler.
Yes. Yeah, they said the manuals are gone. Yeah.
Manuals still no one drive them.
But
Done.
The engagement for an electric vehicle, okay, so they're very fast. I get it. I understand that. They're faster than most gas-fired engines. They are. They're quicker.
Right.
Sure. But where's your engagement on your tack and your in between second and third gear? I mean, that's what and all of our friends, they enjoy that.
And they don't care about that, Bob. It literally is an electric motor. It's like a rheostat. You turn it up and you go faster. You turn it down, you go slow. They're not catering to us. Let's face it. We're the fossils. We're the dinosaurs. They're catering to the younger crowd and the people. They're never selling to us. They don't care about that. Those days are over as far as they're concerned.
Well, I'm going to have to make some sort of choice then at some point. Because
once the politicians are involved like they are, that's the death knell, because now they start pushing their agendas and their programs, and then they start putting tariffs and taxes and rebates and sweet deals on things, and that's what starts moving that wheel along. It's not the consumers and it's not the enthusiasts, unfortunately.
Lastly, there's one point I wanted to make. Got my electrical bill this past month. I discussed it with a neighbor or two, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You see what your electrical bill went to this last 2 months?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't look. I know our water bill was a little higher. Yeah, I have to look at the electric.
My electric doubled.
Right, doubled.
They have to buy. I'm telling you the truth. My electrical bill doubled.
Wow.
And I have a neighbor who has a Tesla. He drives out to Hauppauge. He told me his electric bill. I go, that can't be right. So I looked at my bill again. My bill doubled. He commutes to Hauppauge, so he plugs it in. He travels. He's all over the place.
Yeah, sure.
And his bill was out of control. That's
crazy. Yeah, that's a great way to live. Yeah,
beautiful.
Exactly.
I want to thank you for another great program, guys.
Thank you for contributing, Bob. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks, Bob.
Have a great.
All right, so long. Chris, I found this little bit I've been carrying around. I don't know what it's from, but let me read this to you. These radio hosts bite. And it's
so tell me something I don't know.
Talking about us now, that was Bite with a Y, B-Y-T-E. Smooth talking robot disc jockeys will soon take over the airwaves at dozens of radio stations, according to a firm that makes so-called voice avatars. The Seattle-based startup Super Hi-Fi has already created at least 50 artificially intelligent DJs using the recorded voices of real ones. Producers can control song descriptions and other comments by typing in text. Rob Leonard's going to do the voiceover for most of them. You know what? We have another voiceover on the phone. Let's go to the phones quick and say hi. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Yeah, I know. You run out of time. It's Joe.
Yes, Joe. We Joe. Under the wire. What's happening?
Yeah, just carrying on with the electric vehicle routine. A couple of things. Number one, how many storms have we actually made it through without losing power on Long Island? And the other thing is that forget about burning rubber with an electric vehicle, because now they're talking about manufacturing cars with limiters on it, so it automatically knows the speed limit of the zone and throttles you down.
Sure. Okay. No, you're right. I'm sure there's going to be hackers that are going to try and disable those options to burn rubber. But you're right that they're tending to those things to keep them from burning rubber, basically. Yeah.
But do they have them on the cars now?
They're working on. I don't remember what the details were, but I did read.
Is Tesla working on them? Is GM working on them?
We have a guest in the studio.
I've been listening to you guys talking crap all show today, man.
Oh, boy.
Come on.
Come on, Rob. You go to sleep during our show.
He usually does.
I wake up when I hear things that are like kind of, hey.
What's he doing here with that on?
That's the clip I want. What's he doing here?
Every so often I say at the end of my show, I said, yeah, Ray and Chris are going to be talking about electronic vehicles, knowing that they're not going to.
Yeah. Well, we didn't bring it up, Rob.
So, for those who don't know, Tesla has this really nice thing where you hook it up to your solar panels and you charge for free.
Yeah.
Solar. It's a battery that connects up to your solar panel.
I'm going to tell you this. I had studied photovoltaics.
But I'm going to work when the sun's out.
Yes, I had studied photovoltaics.
Yeah, that's called a battery, pal. It's like doing your cell phone every night.
You're still limited to the amount of current voltage you're going to get out of those solar panels. You need an array. You need many of them, and.
Yes. You don't have enough solar panels to
do I have to bring people in?
Well, you know what? We'll do the math. I'm telling you. Solar panels have come a long way since I first introduced them in the early 80s. In 81, I was studying them. They have come a long way, but it's not like it's not huge yet. It's not.
Do we have to bring people in? Do we have to call up the people and say, okay, electric vehicle people, everyone in paranoid world is saying, oh my God. Yeah, well, if I went through a puddle, which I almost did once where I destroyed my car.
All right.
What happened? You know what happened? Look what happened last year. We had that storm. And on the LIE, I'm driving the next day, and all the floodwaters had backed up. There were about 150 cars on both sides of the LIE, on the Queens side, in the Queens part, that were destroyed.
Right.
Now, they're going to get destroyed if it's an electric car or a gas car.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
Thanks, Rob.
Joe D he sent me. Joe says this sounds like Flintstones meets the Flintstones, and it's a bigger fire hazard than a Tesla, a friggin' Pinto. So Joe is tuned in still. Thank you, Joe.
This is like the Flintstones meets the Jetsons. Come on.
I know. But it's going to be Motormouth Radio meets Thunder Road because Kim is coming in a few minutes, so we got to get out of here. So
have a good one, bye.
Joe. Thanks for calling, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for putting up with us.
Yeah. But solar panels are vital. The sun is, they'll find a way to tax that. They will. They'll find a way to tax the sun.
I'm sure.
There is something to be said about that.
There is. Because
if you're not on the grid, you're standalone. But think about it. If you have a home generator, which people have now, they're cheap now, and people buy them now.
Yeah.
So you charge a car up from that.
But what goes in a generator? Gas.
Yeah, I know.
Diesel. Or propane or diesel.
Is electricity cheaper to operate than gas?
Is what? Say that again.
Is it cheaper to operate than gas?
It all depends on how the electricity is generated.
It does, yeah, because you don't get the same amount of joules, the amount of energy from.
No, but I'm talking about like the electricity that comes to your house is the same. Whether you're using it for a vacuum cleaner or your car.
It's actually, we pay a lot per kilowatt hour here as opposed to other parts of the country. But overall, it's an affordable way to power your house. It's not bad, except when it doubles, like Bob said. Then it's.
But you got to do your math. If you have a 4-cylinder car that gets a certain amount of gas mileage, you have to factor that in your gas bill. You have to factor that into your electric bill. So if you pay $300 a month for gasoline, if your electric bill goes up $300 a month, what's the cost savings? Exactly. Is there cost savings? No.
Yeah. Well, it's about, we'll say 200 miles per charge. So as of right now, I have to
get my calculator out.
Well, you know what? Yes, you do.
I tell you what,
you're talking about.
Costs. Take off my shoes.
I'll tell you what you got to get out. You got to get out of here because Kim is coming in. She's ready. We got to go. So, Chris, what do we always say before we skedaddle?
You always say, "Get the hell out of this place, Rob."
Right.
Say, Rob, go back and take a nap.
Yeah.
And don't follow us into the studio, Rob.
Head down to Celebrity Chase Collision, 476 Merrick Road, Oceanside. They may still have a couple of rolls and coffee left for the end of the Cars and Coffee. Ray Guarino, Chris Switzer. We'll see you next week.
See you. Bye.
On 90.3 WHPC. Bye.